This programme was made with the support of the Broadcasting Authority of Ireland.
With pedals turning, the miles are burning, revealing landscapes so awe-inspiring, from the crashing ocean to the mountains climbing. Ireland is there for you and me.
A day out of Kerry is a day wasted.
The Dingle Peninsula in general is very famous.
Dingle was our favourite area for sure.
It is a beautiful part of the country.
The Dingle Peninsula is absolutely breathtaking. I think it's one of the best cycle trips I've ever taken.
The Dingle Peninsula is beautiful.
The sheer beauty and the fact that whatever way you go, you're just surrounded by little paradise places.
It's beautiful to look at. The people are so friendly. It's very ancient and very spiritual.
You have all the natural beauty here, from the mountains to the sea to the Great Atlantic, the Three Sisters.
There's a lot of history here. When you go out to the Blaskets and you see the ruins, or you see just things in the different fields and just the way people live and the friendliness of the people.
And the Dingle Peninsula, and I love it. I love it. I think this is the place.
I'm Paul Wright and welcome to the third programme of On Your Bike, the series which celebrates those people and places we encounter on our cycle odyssey along Ireland's western seaboard. In our last programme, we visited Dingletown in County Kerry. Sticking with Dingle, I visited the Oceanworld Aquarium during my visit there.
I'm Garrodo Kivon from Dingle, and I've been working here for the last 3 years, and this is our main exhibit here. It's the shark tank, and we've got 4 large sand tiger sharks. We've got 3 males, and you notice the difference by the claspers underneath them. They're the males, and we've 1 large female inside here, and they're originally from South Africa, and they can go between 5 and 15 sets of teeth during their lifetime, and they're quite a big shark. They can go up to 10 foot, so they're the largest sharks in the tank that we can get.
God, I'll tell you one thing, Garrod, they're a big shark, aren't they? I mean, give our listeners a word picture of the dimensions of this fish now. Big ones.
They're about 10 foot, and they weigh about, say, roughly 200 to 250 pounds, and they're quite aggressive when feeding as well, and they would be able to, say, attack a person, but they haven't been known to kill, but they have been known to bite and give a nasty bite.
Wow, I well believe it. I mean, I've interviewed guys for radio down the years. A guy from Holland called Marky Sharky, the Shark Man was his name, believe it or not, worked with sharks, and he said no matter what shark it is, all sharks can be potentially dangerous, you know.
Yeah, but in fairness now, in this tank now, the fella I'd be more scared if I fell in would probably be the green moray eel. He's very unpredictable. It's kind of like a conger eel, and the jaw opens up kind of like, a snake, as I were, say, to just open up very wide and be able to take a vicious snap, because his teeth are faced inwards, so if he bit you, that it'd just literally lacerate you, so it'd be quite a nasty bite, alright.
Wow, God almighty, it doesn't bear thinking about, doesn't it? We don't recommend this to the listeners at home, but wow, God, what kind of questions, Garrod, are the people asking now when they come in and they see this massive fish, the sharks, and these fantastic fish?
Yeah, well, the main ones really is where do they come from and the size, really. They're from South Africa, and as I said before, they're to go up to 10 foot and 250 pounds roughly.
And have they killed anyone?
Yeah, that's it. And another
a typical juvenile question that I kind of ask.
A lot of questions we get is about this big southern stingray in the tank. It's about 200 centimetres in diameter, and that's actually the same kind of thing that killed Steve Irwin, but he was just unlucky enough to get it through the heart. That they're usually kind of friendly enough creatures that I'd say he was kind of messing about with it in the wrong way that he got it, and he was unfortunate enough to get it straight through the heart, and it's just...
I mean, we're talking about 3 foot across, the stingray. Wow, that is a massive fish. It just he looks like a very peaceable looking fish, but I suppose any animal, if he feels he's been under attack, it's going to be trouble.
That's exactly it. Like he thought he was under a fierce, like he was in shock, like, so I suppose that's why he did it. Because they'd usually come up to you and you'd be able to pet them, and there's no fear of them really attacking you. They're fairly friendly creatures. And then we also have not only do we have the sharks and the stingrays, we've also Molly the turtle. And she's in here indefinitely because we found her beached. She was after being attacked, so we can't release her out to the wild because her front flippers are fairly damaged, and if she was to be released, she'd mate and go up on the beach and wouldn't be able to carry her body weight, so she'd be here indefinitely. So
and where is she situated, Gerard? Will we go on over and have a look at her, maybe, you know? She's actually in the tank, right? Okay, we're going to have a look now. Okay, so we're just looking here now at the tank to see if we can see Molly the turtle. Oh God, she's a beautiful looking turtle. There's no doubt about it.
A loggerhead turtle. She's about, say, 2.5 foot long and about 2 foot wide. She's got 4 flippers. The 2 front flippers, which I said before, lacerated, so they're not what they should be, even though they look normal. And then she's got the 2 back flippers as well. And she's fairly happy inside here. She's eating well, and they can live up to 80 to 100 years old, so she's about roughly between 35 and 40 now, so she could be with us for a long time if the place stays open.
80 to 100 years, wow, that's remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a long lifetime, alright, yeah.
With the pedals turning, the miles are burning, revealing landscapes so awe-inspiring, from the crashing ocean to the mountains climbing. Ireland is there for you and me.
Talking with a few good men here now. First of all, do you want to introduce yourself to our listeners, please?
My name's Josh.
Luke. I'm Slow. Owen.
Great. Now, men, where are you from?
I'm from England, but live in Wales.
Anglesey in North Wales. Anglesey in North Wales too. Bangor, North Wales.
So I better not say any anti-Welsh sentiments or whatever, or we're in trouble, you know. There's 4 of you and there's only 1 of me, and there's a big cliff down there, right? Look at men, well, where are we at the moment? Do you want to just tell the listeners there where we are at the moment, what we're looking at, what panoramic view is in front of us?
We've just driven on the road about 10 kilometres around from Dingle, and we're standing on a cliff maybe 60 metres above the sea, looking out across a bay. You can see some islands off to this kind of southwesterly direction, and a headland and some just absolutely stunning mountains that are kind of reminiscent of North Wales.
Fantastic. And men, you've been travelling around Ireland for a while yourselves. I mean, where have you been now so far?
We started off in Dublin from the ferry, drove straight across to Lahinch. We've been there for 2 or 3 days, had a good bit of fun, met a few interesting people, and then carried on down here. So
Great. Sounds like good fun, yeah. And you're actually you're in a van now, aren't you? You're actually going around vanning it, you know, so to speak. So you're kind of independent agent, so to speak.
Yeah, completely. We carry all our own food, cooking equipment, gas, water, surfboards, most importantly. And
right, you're big into the surf, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, these guys more than myself, really. This is an introduction to surfing in Ireland for me, but these guys, this is the 3rd time they've all been here.
So this is a kind of Patrick Swayze breakpoint effort, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing, pointing guns into the sky and shooting and screaming all at the same time.
We don't recommend this to listeners at home, right? But look at men, just as a matter of interest, for the average punter out there, where are the best surf spots now in Ireland?
I'd say maybe Lahinch or a bit further up by Sligo, Bundoran area, but we're just coming down here for the first time to try it now, so unfortunately there's not that much swell, but we're going to have a look and try and scout it all out. So.
Great. And what's the secret to a good surfer? I mean, what makes a good surfer?
I guess one that's passionate towards the sea and always been involved with it, and they just want to try and surf the waves and try and enjoy the sea and connect with it, I guess. Quite a difficult question, but it's just something that you enjoy.
Right. And what got you into it yourselves, men? What actually, when did you first take up surfing?
Well, Clew actually took me surfing for the first time when I was back home. We went out on bodyboards and just messed around the sea for a bit, and from there it developed and started to really enjoy it and wanted to go surfing again. So
fantastic. I'd say some adrenaline rush. Must be some. I mean, I've talked with friends of mine who do it up in Sligo and that there, and they say it's fantastic. I mean, real pushing the limits, pushing the envelope, so to speak.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, the bigger the wave, really, the better, but we just have to see what we get. And unfortunately, we haven't got it here, but the buzz is amazing. Yeah.
Great. What's the best place you've ever surfed now in your own surfing career to date?
Indonesia. Bali, that's probably the best place I've ever surfed.
Wow,
nice
Indonesia
as well. But back home, I obviously have to keep your heart where your home is. So yeah, there's a few spots back there as well.
And what about Indonesia? I mean, what was that like?
Well, it's obviously nice and warm, so the air was the same temperature as the sea, about 30 degrees, and just waves every day without having to check the surf reports was quite nice and made a change for the North Walians.
Wow, that's fantastic, man. That is so cool, yeah. And was there people there from all over the world? Like, was it an international surf set, so to speak?
Yeah, absolutely. It was just people from everywhere, and it was just quite amazing to just go out there and speak to all these different people and surf with all these different people and see all these cultures as well. So
that's brilliant, yeah. And Owen, yourself, you're massively big into surfing as well. What does it for you with surfing, you know?
I don't know, it's just the feeling you get, and it just turns into an obsession, and then it does, and yeah. It's just like an obsession.
Right. I mean, I've talked with guys. I mean, I've met a few guys, you know, down the years, especially from England and other parts of the world, and they've gone to Morocco. Everything. It's a real fanaticism, isn't it?
Once you pop, you can't stop. It's all about just being at one with nature and just getting out there and doing it for real.
You'll be quite selfish as well because you'll do anything to do it. You'll just like cancel arrangements, anything to go.
And even leave the girlfriends. Wow, that's a real addiction. That is
the girlfriends. Man.
You've not seen the Welsh women.
No, God. And tell us, man, just as a matter of interest, I mean, what about Hawaii? Okay, the famous surf spot, Hawaii. What's that famous wave? Mau, is it M-A-U-I, whatever the way it's spelled? Would it be your aspiration to get out there someday, maybe?
Oh no, that's just. Don't really want to risk our lives. Love surfing, but wouldn't surf waves like that. I don't think.
You want to know what you're doing anyway. It's a real, break point effort. Yeah,
it's very competitive over there as well, and I think you get quite a lot of localism. That's people like angry with people coming in as well. So it's quite. I mean, it's a hotbed for it, but it's got negative sides as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And men, have any of you been to Indonesia yourselves or Bali or any of these?
Yeah, we went. Us three went.
And what was the highlight of it for yourselves?
Highlight, don't know. We got a really, really big day, and the waves were just huge, and we didn't get that many waves because it was so big, but it was just exciting to be out there. I don't know. That was probably the highlight.
A real dream come true, isn't it? It really is, yeah. I mean, I'm going to have to ask you, I mean, there is this image thing about, I wouldn't be doing justice to the listeners out there if I didn't ask you, there is this image thing about surfing being cool, sexy, whatever, I mean, it's good for catching the women or what now?
What
kind of a night? I'm a surfer.
Well, so far success this week has been moderate kind of to high.
That sounds like a weather report. Are we talking about climate change or women?
A combination of the two. The women come out with the climate, and so we tend to get more. So it's it all works together.
Good. Do a lot of women surf as well?
Yeah, they do quite proficiently as well.
Not so much in Wales. There's not many girls surfing, but out here we've seen a few girls that are really good. Better than us.
Very, very popular in Ireland, very popular. I mean, where's the best place in Western Europe, say nearest to Wales, for surfing now? Just from your own experience.
I've been down to Portugal, and that was pretty good. And some of the south coast of Spain was good. The north coast of Spain, the west coast of France. It's different. There's so many different places and different conditions that you could never really say one spot's better than another because you've just got to travel to find it.
Right, and it depends on the weather and what the day is like as well and everything, yeah. And men, just getting away from the surf for the moment, just back to Ireland. I mean, you've travelled around the west coast of Ireland a good bit from what it seems. What's been the best part for yourselves about? What do you like most about this place now?
The countryside's absolutely stunning, and today just driving along the back roads, people that were just mowing the lawn out the front of the house and stuff, everybody, had time to give us a wave, shows you where to go. Some guy in a toll booth let us through for free because we were completely lost, and everyone's just so lovely around here. It's not something you'd see, certainly in England.
Irish people are really nice. That's a big part of coming here as well, just for the Irish people. And the Guinness too.
That's brilliant, but
it's to be said really, but yeah, Irish people are so nice, and it's good.
That's great, that's fantastic anyway, man, and I hope. And how long more have you got in the Emerald Isle now?
We're off next Friday. back home, so got another 4 or 5 days.
Great. So I'd say you'd like to stay longer. Maybe you're heading back to work, or what is it?
Yeah, we've got work again starting this weekend, so unfortunately we've got to be back. But whether we catch that ferry or not, it could be debatable.
Man, I just want to say on behalf of all our listeners, thanks profusely and best of luck in your travels.
Fantastic. No, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Enjoyed speaking to you.
Have a good bike ride. It's been an experience.
We'll cycle boreens, cycle highways, meet friendly kind folk down every byway to tell us stories of their own lives, living in the beauty of this country.
I'm Ross O'Connor. I'm from Canada, and right now we are in the Dingle Peninsula in Dunquin, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
We're in the Dunquin Onoiga Hostel, Ross, and we're just, Ross, you've just been telling me now that you actually have been making your way around Ireland for the last 2 weeks. You're touring Ireland for a month and loving it.
It's been brilliant, to essentially put it quickly. I've gone around by public transport. I've had hitchhiking experiences. I've had bus and train experiences, ferry experiences. It's been everyone's been really grand, and I can't say enough good things about it.
You were saying as well, Ross, just regarding an incident happened to you in Skull in your travels around Ireland.
I was travelling through Skull, and Skull is way down in the south, and I had arrived there smack dab in what they called Regatta Week, this small, sleepy fishing village of 500 people. I'm sorry, I don't know how much it is. I apologize to the people of Skull if it's more than that. But this small village overnight turns into a megapolis of thousands of people. And it's the Tower of Babel. You hear French and Spanish and German and Dutch and probably Esperanto if you listen closely. And as I got there, I had no idea I was getting there at this time. Of course, I've been told, no room at the inn, not a room left in the place, no hostels, no B&Bs, no nothing. The place is packed, tighter than a whatever. And so the little lady who's at the information centre said, well, perhaps we could do you for camping or something. Have you got a tent? No, I haven't got a tent. Well, wait a minute. And then she calls this fella called Peter. Peter, have you got a tent? No, I don't have it. Well, could you call Paul or something? And then Peter called Paul, who called Mary, who called Johnny, who called I don't know. And I think half the town was roused before an actual tent was found. And I'm just like a tourist who just gotten there minutes ago, and I've got half the town council working for me. And I was very impressed, obviously very impressed by that, by their overwhelming kindness. And yes, at the end of the whole thing, someone did find a tent somewhere, and it was brought in by horse-drawn carriage or something and dropped off, and I was able to stay in Skull for a few days and appreciate their great little town. And that was a very good time and a nice story.
I could well believe it. I mean, I'd say that the tent was from great Uncle Jack, who fought in the First World War, who had the French tent out in the Western Front or whatever, and had been given to him by a German, a kindly German, whatever, from the other side when he was taken captive or whatever. I'd say there's a story there as well. Oh, unbelievable, though.
Yeah, no, and these are just sort of the little things that make travelling worthwhile, and the people you meet, some of the kindness and the generosities of the people who pick you up in their cars or just loan you a tent or these sorts of things that you wouldn't get anywhere else in many ways, because some of these places, either because they're a small community, they have the community feel to them, or because they're just generally people who are welcoming and all that. So you get lots of good stories, and you get lots of good meetings and good stories to tell later. And so I'll keep a good experience of Ireland just for those little things.
My name is Malachy McAulieve. I work as a tour guide in the Blasket Island Heritage Centre in Dunquin in West Kerry during the summer.
Fantastic. Now, Malachy, we're beside the centre here, just at the entrance, and it's a fantastic centre. The great dimensions. I didn't actually realise it was going to be so vast, expansive, and given a complete outlay of the fascinating history of this remarkable island, set of islands.
Yeah, it's we're actually here quite a while now. It was built in 1993, and I suppose for its time it was quite a modern building, and it's still fairly eye-catching. It's I suppose the fancy name for it is an interpretive centre. So what it endeavours to do is to interpret the story of the Blasket Island, the story of the people that lived there, and the legacy of literature that they left after them, and to explain it through an awful lot of different mediums. We've got a lot of storyboards and images and artefacts, models, artistic installations that lead you through a journey as you go through the building. The way it was designed, I suppose, was to resemble the journey that the islanders and the visitors to the island would take themselves from the pier in Dingle, the 3 miles across the Blasket Sound into the island. So when you're in this building, you're on a kind of a journey yourself, physically getting closer to the island as you're walking down towards the island, but also you're learning more about the island all the time. And so when you get to the very bottom of the interpretive centre, you've completed that journey towards the Blasket Island.
On Blasket Island, we'll walk the white strand and see where Peg drew her inspiration.
I was reared here. I moved here when I was about 4 years old, and I was kind of immersed in the story of the area and the history and the culture of the area, and I'm very much interested in it myself, and to have an opportunity to pass some of that on, to tell the story of it, and to get a small wage for it isn't too bad either, you know.
Living the dream, man.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, you know, and you know, as I mentioned, you know, it's only, you know, we rely on the summer season and on the tourist season, so it is a temporary work, but there's nothing wrong with it, and it is really enjoyable.
What kind? Okay, you must be getting some interesting questions. What would be the more interesting questions?
When you mean interesting now, do you mean
spice up our listeners' lives?
Odd ones. Well, I suppose very often I've been asked a number of times as people come around West Kerry, a certain nationality, which I won't mention, but a certain nationality come around in buses, and they will often ask, how come the sheep all have different colours on their wool? Is that going to be the colour of the jumpers when they take the wool off the sheep? So I have to explain to them, no, that means that the farmer owns that sheep and that they have their own colour. And also, you know, different things like that. But they're lovely. Like I you know, the simple questions like that are fine. But yeah, you get the odd, unusual question like, where did the Blasket Islanders go to the toilet? Is always, you know, that one pops up now and again.
Even I wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah, you know, so you kind of have to take a deep breath.
Island of grandeur at every sunrise, island of splendor at every moonrise, with herons waiting and gannets diving, salmon leaping, wild deer thriving. The door is open to friend or stranger, 100,000 welcomes you will find.
Talking with a good man here now. First of all, you want to introduce yourself to our listeners, please, and just tell them where we are at the moment.
Yeah, my name's Fred Parks. I'm 64 years of age. Born in London, but living in Germany, southern Germany, for the last 40 years. Yeah, and this is now my 4th time in Ireland for leisure. And I was here. My first impressions of Ireland was here on business in Waterford. And it interested me and fascinated me so much I thought I have to come back on vacation.
When was that, Fred? When did you in Waterford? Was it 40 years ago or thereabouts?
It was about 6 years ago.
Oh, right, that recent, right, okay. And you fell in love with Ireland then, 6 years ago?
I fell in love with Ireland then. And the people, they're so pragmatic. They seem to know how to... They live to live. Yeah, and they take life that it comes, and I just think, you know, it's this way of life, and just my first impression of Ireland, flying into Ireland, into Waterford, and you see the green, the Emerald Isle, and you think it really is an Emerald Isle, yeah, and that's, you know, really really fascinated me. And this part is, I mean, I do a hell of a lot of cycling, so around about 10,000 kilometres a year. And you come into Ireland, this part of Ireland, okay, the Ring of Kerry, but especially the Dingle Peninsula is absolutely breathtaking. I think it's one of the best cycle trips I've ever taken.
Wow, that's a real accolade. There's no doubt about it. I mean, 10,000 miles. I mean, that's colossal. Kilometres. 10,000 kilometres. I mean, that's still colossal. Wow. I mean, you're cycling all over the world then?
No, it mainly around Germany, Switzerland, yeah. But I do mainly for health reasons as well, yeah. Ireland is and the UK was in UK last year, but mainly it's Germany and Switzerland, a little bit of France, not much, yeah. And so that's my.
That's fantastic. And Fred, just for yourself, I mean, what is it you love about? You're cycling, okay, to Dingle Peninsula, you're doing the Western Seaboard, I presume, and other parts of Ireland. What parts do you love the most, and why?
I just love the people. I love the music, the scenery is breathtaking, yeah. But it's just something about it. I just feel at home here, yeah. And I said to my girlfriend that, I read somewhere there's a wonderful Irish drink saying, yeah. May you die in Ireland, and I think that sums it up.
That's a very Irish saying. There's no doubt about it, yeah. And is there any kind of adventures you've had now? I mean, how long have you been in the Emerald Isle on this particular visit?
We've only been here a couple of days now. We arrived on Saturday, but I think one of the funniest. I was here. I did this Dingle tour 3 years ago, yeah, and I was with a relation, and we had a problem with his bike. Yeah, and automatically the people came out their houses to see if they could help us. Yeah, which was fantastic. Yeah, obviously they couldn't. The bike was completely ruined, the gears. Yeah, but then we phoned the bike hire. They sent someone to pick up the bike, 54 kilometres more or less. So they had a round trip of 100 kilometres. When we gave the bike back in the evening, no problems, no discussion. Okay, they took it as it comes. But the thing was, while we was waiting for the bike, we had to wait somewhere. So one of these guys who came at the houses took the bike and my partner up to the next pub to wait for the bike hire, but the pub was closed. But the landlord just opened the pub for us, and so he opened it 3 hours early so we could wait for the bike to come. Yeah, and that's something. It really is unbelievable.
Yes, the door is open to friend or stranger. 100,000 welcomes you will find.
I'd love to bring more people here from home to show them. I mean, okay, up until now I brought 3 friends that came with me the first time. I brought a relation the second time. But it just fascinates me, and the people don't know what they're missing.
This programme was made with the support of the Broadcasting Authority of Ireland.
With the pedals turning, the miles are burning, revealing landscapes so awe-inspiring. From the crashing ocean to the mountains climbing, Ireland is there for you and me. From Mount Skull to Inishowen, from the Dalkey Island to Inishboffin, from Carrontool to Lugnaquilla, Ireland is there to ramble free. We'll climb the mountains, swim the rivers, surf the high tide up near Bundoran, set our mainsail towards the Shannon, or see the hookers race off Spiddle Shore. On Blasket Island we'll walk the white strand and see where Peg drew her inspiration. Near Ennis Diamond we'll stand on high cliffs, those proud and majestic cliffs of Moher. We'll climb the steps of Skellig Michael, gaze with wonder as dolphins